All right, we are live. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. If you are watching live, do hashtag live in the comments. If you're watching on replay, do hashtag replay in the comments. Give us some love. What we are going to be talking about today, kind of four main topics, all related to short-term rentals in the travel industry, obviously. The four topics: who is traveling, how are they traveling, how has this affected bookings? Because we all know COVID has been a whirlwind, a really, really terrible thing that has happened. But the goal is to pivot and push forward, even in the pandemic. And topic number four: how to provide safe accommodation. So actionable tips that you can take forward into your short-term rental that you can implement today. So Riley, on here as usual. So let's just jump right in. Who is traveling right now? I can take this one. I don't know if anybody knows my background, but my girlfriend's a travel nurse, fighting COVID, fighting the good fight. But we have been traveling for the past 2 years, digital nomad, some people call it. Everybody's got a little different name, but who is traveling? It's travel nurses, business people, people still doing travel trips with their friends and family. There's a lot of people who are still traveling, believe it or not. But yeah, it's the goal here is to educate. I was kind of really hesitant, like, okay, are people still traveling during this thing? And they actually still are. It's just people traveling differently. So we're going to go into a little more detail and kind of how they are traveling. Riley, you want to kind of touch on how people are traveling now?
Yeah, I want to go back to digital nomads for a second. I mean, this is a huge group that really makes up a large portion of the people that are traveling right now. And it's really due to the fact that companies and individuals have become so flexible with your work environment. They're letting people work remotely, obviously at a necessity in the beginning, but a lot of companies in various industries have adapted this and realized that you can trust your employees to work remotely and you're still going to get the productivity out of them in the future. So it's not necessarily something that's going to end either. This is a trend that we think is going to outlast COVID and really be the new norm, is that so many people are able to work remotely and not be tied to a specific city or location.
Yeah.
So let me jump into how they're traveling then. Now we've talked about who are some of the groups that are traveling, how are they traveling? One of the main ways that they're traveling is to the suburbs. So it's people who are in condos or people who are in the city goers who don't necessarily have a lot of space and they're looking to have some outdoor activities or outdoor space, or go to the suburbs to be able to leave their condo or feel comfortable in the dwelling that they're in. So they're going for weekends, they're going for weeks at a time, they're going for even months sometimes, depending on their work situation or whatever is tying them to the city. So that's a main group that's traveling. How they're traveling right now is to the suburbs. Also, domestic short drive destinations. So what that means is anything 1 to 4 hours that's close to, or 1 to 4 hours from a major city or a major destination. That's a huge travel ticket for people right now. Like, it's similar to the suburban sprawl that we kind of just talked about. People are jumping in the cars, they're hesitant to fly. So anywhere that they can drive that's 1 to 4 hours that they can stay for a long weekend or for a week, that's going to be huge. So one of those, or a few of those in Charlotte, are the beaches, which are around 3 to 4 hours, depending on what beach you're going. And also the mountains are some destinations around here that have been doing pretty well.
Yeah, geographically, Charlotte is a really good spot because it has beaches and then mountains very close, within a couple-hour drive. So you'll see a lot of people kind of migrating from the north, even migrating from the south as well. A lot of people are traveling from Florida, which is a big spot for COVID. But yeah, no, thanks for touching on that. Moving on to kind of point number 3, how has this affected bookings? We get that question a lot, and it really has. There's no sugarcoating it. COVID is a terrible thing that is happening, but from a business perspective, it is our job and duty to push forward and then continue to pivot and change how you're marketing, how you're providing a service, how you're literally doing everything. It has changed everybody in different ways, shapes, and forms, but definitely the bookings. For me, bookings, one kind of key takeaway is people are staying longer. People are still traveling. I mentioned this before. People are still traveling. It's just people travel differently. People are staying weeks at a time versus just a long weekend with their friends and family. They're working remote. So like having a home office, we'll touch on that a little bit later, but having that in the short-term rental in your Airbnbs is a big part. So just to kind of recap, people are still traveling to cities and especially the suburbs, but it affects everybody a little bit differently.
Yeah, and a big takeaway there for you guys is the necessity to provide some kind of valuable workspace for these travelers. So even during the weekend, but more importantly during the weeks, if you're able to provide a strong Wi-Fi, then do that. It's worth the investment because people are going to use it, whether you have teachers that are teaching on the road, students that are learning, or just workers. Provide them that Wi-Fi information. So even in the listing, be as clear as to write down how fast your Wi-Fi speed is on the listing. That's important in this technological age. A lot of people will know what that means, that how fast your internet is. And it really just is one more point that you can use to drive the workability of your place and get some value in the confidence of your consumers that are traveling with you. So any desk space that you have, take photos of it, make sure that's included in your listing as well.
Yep. That's a great point. One easy way to do this, go to speedtest.net or just Google speed test. You can find out your internet speed within 5 seconds. And then put that in your listing. Like Riley said, that's a big selling point. If someone knows they have 200 megs of speed or even a gigabyte of speed, like that's huge in someone who is a traveler. So, yeah, great points there. How to provide safe accommodations. These are actionable steps that Riley's going to go into with things that you can actually do today to positively affect your short-term rental.
Yep. Okay. The low-hanging fruit that we all are working on is provide quality cleaning and disinfecting of your units between turnovers. So that can't be overstated. At this time, cleanliness is of the utmost importance, and you guys have to focus on it. I would say most good hosts are doing that, but what a lot of good hosts are missing is advertise that. If that's another way that you can gain consumer confidence by letting them know that we hit all high traffic touch points, light switches, doorknobs, remotes, we disinfect all that stuff in between the stays, and also limit the time people from different households are in the place. So there's even some recommendations from the CDC that list how many hours in between your cleaning crews or your checkout there should be in order to make sure that the space is safe. So advertising that you're taking care and consideration to these standards is huge for gaining confidence. Airbnb has even published some cleaning standards and has asked the host to acknowledge that they're following with these standards as well.
Yeah. Airbnb is really pushing the host to make sure you're doing your due diligence and cleaning everything and making sure the cleaning staff is doing everything that they possibly can to reduce the spread of this. And one thing we haven't touched on, Riley, that I wanted to, people are avoiding hotels. Like single family homes are very popular just because less people, you can check in, check out at your own time. It's automated. You don't have to go to a front desk staff, exchange card keys, go up, ride in an elevator that thousands of people have ridden in the same day, and then just go to your room. So single family homes are very popular.
Exactly. And it goes into limiting the amount of interaction between people of different households. It's just difficult for a hotel to do that. But the things that have become gold standard in short-term rentals, like contactless check-in, has made it, and just the nature of having a single family home in particular, has made it so much easier for us to adapt and basically provide safer accommodations for people who need to travel at this time. And the last one that we wanted to hit on is be flexible and reasonable. Everyone has gotten hit in different ways right now during COVID. It's not just businesses, people, individuals, family members, everyone is getting hit by this. So you have to understand as a host that you're going to have to be flexible in your cancellation policy. It's almost karma coming right back at you, because when you are flexible and you allow people to communicate early with you and maybe change plans if something were to happen, it comes back. You get more bookings. So again, I'm going to say advertise your flexible cancellation policy. Don't just set it on your listing, talk about it. Reference the fact that you're going to work with the guests that come into your place because they appreciate that. When you hold someone to that standard, they're going to rise up and meet you at that occasion. So it doesn't mean give a full refund every time. What we do is if someone's able to prove that a guest that's going to travel with them has COVID, or if their event was completely canceled, then we understand those situations. Someone's not going to want to travel at that time. So That's what we recommend. Be flexible with people and treat them the way that you'd like to be treated, the golden rule.
Bingo. Yeah. We're a big believer in karma, and this goes hand in hand with that. So yeah, appreciate it. That was hopefully very helpful for you guys. If you did get value from it, let us know. We love getting these messages and saying this was helpful. If you have some ideas on stuff you want us to cover on maybe the next live, let us know as well in the comments. Once again, Caleb and Riley from MyTripify, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.